Morning, everybody, and welcome. It's World Sports Betting's morning report from myself, Alistair, and the rest of the crew. Trust we find you in good spirits, high spirits, and ready to be entertained for the next hour or so. And we got a rip-roaring panel today. I'm going to start off on my far right-hand side with Rod McCurdy. Rod, morning. We've heard some very good stories today, but something your son told me yesterday that actually worries me, because Sean told me that he's taking your mom for walks every day, but why is he not taking you?
Well, he's taken her off the lead, which is a good start.
Is your wife watching?
No.
Where you've been for the last 24 hours doesn't have TV?
No TV there. I checked. There's no television jar. No, I've actually driven in this morning from an hour away. Come in to make sure we're here for the show.
That's great commitment.
It's good commitment, jar. So anyway.
So you're going on the lead next week, because you need a walk.
Yeah, I could do a bit of walk. Knees give me a bit of trouble, though. But apparently my wife's told me she's found the, you know, that stretchy, like, wetsuit material thing?
Oh, yeah.
Knee guard. So I can put that on.
Brace,
yeah. Knee's not playing up too well these days.
That's
But
not going to help your knees
actually,
too
nothing much is working these days.
Oh.
Hey, no, well, shingles. It does it to you, I tell you. Anyway.
Carol, nice to see you.
Yeah,
You look, I
good
know
to be
nothing
back.
about hair and style, but you actually look good.
Thank you so much.
What happened yesterday with Bafana Bafana?
Oh, man, yeah. We are very, very concerned in terms of qualifying. You know, Cape Verde Islands are the weakest side, or deemed the weakest side in our particular group. So we are extremely concerned. And we'll be looking to see what happens with the qualifiers today. Fingers crossed.
Still quite
Cape
a long
Verde,
way
isn't
to
that
go.
a massive
Yeah.
nation? Where is that?
Cape Verde.
Yeah, isn't it massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not at all. in
is
terms of football, they're absolute minnows.
Oh, really?
Minnows, yeah.
It's an little island.
what was the
Just
score?
in case you don't know
I
what
don't.
islands are.
2-1.
2-1.
2-1 to Cape Verde, yeah.
So we're
Everyone
kicking on,
won
we're improving nicely.
No, 2-1 to Cape Verde.
Oh.
Yeah.
10 men we finished with.
Do we finish with 10 men? Reminds me of this one airport story that I heard that also took off without a member.
Reminds me of something. I've never heard anybody state the obvious more than you did.
What did I do?
I know nothing about style and hair. Thank you, like everybody didn't know that out there, you know what I'm saying? Hold on.
Good change of
you gotta-
subject. Good change of subject. You going to the airport later? You're
Enough
allowed there?
driving everywhere. I'm a driver. Formula One, that's my game.
Dom, you've kicked Terry off the panel because our soccer experts decided to give up after yesterday's or last week's performance.
I waited all week to boast about what we did last week. We had the Pariah winning the race. We took a four-way all to come. Pariah winning, Man City to win, Man United to win, and Swansea, which Teddy swore blind it could never win.
Hold on, I'd like to just say something else
Yeah.
here, if I may, right? You waited all week. You didn't wait 1 second, right, to start sending SMSs. Oh, Swansea 2-0 up, Man City.
He phoned me in the middle of a race last week at Surf, and I just see Dom Zaki. He said, well, he must be out the pick six. What's happening in the soccer? Just as I finished, he said, have you seen the score? Swansea are winning.
You know what? The treble, the 4 wars all to go worked out to 24-1. Gary worked it out for us. And whoever listened to us, or whoever listened to me, not you guys,
Yes.
Boy.
got a bundle of
How
money.
much did you take of a dump?
I had $100 on.
Oh, well done.
Do you want to know how?
Well
you want to know how
done. Well
good
done.
Dom's soccer knowledge is? He says, "Where this week's fixtures? I can't get on. What's going on?"
No, but you know what? Stats never lie. So if you, no matter how much you know, you just study a little bit and you'll work. And in fact, I've got a rugby treble for you today.
Oh, word.
There we go.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Studying
You're
the
going to be
rugby
out of a job
yesterday.
from next week now.
Excellent.
Okay, well, you're here to talk about racing as well. We've got a race coming up in the next 5 minutes, so we are going to talk about Randwick Race 6. We don't actually need to tell people what's happening in Race 7, but anyway, Randwick Race 6, what have you got for us?
We got formality in race 6, Alistair. It's 22-10. And we got, obviously we got Winks, as everybody knows, in race 7. So maybe they must take a double. There's no value back in Winks at 1-9 or 1-8. It's pointless to have a bet on that. Unfortunately, he's the race I have to tip on.
Yes.
And she can never lose in that particular race. So the guys take the double. I think there will be a little bit of value.
Okay, so formality is...
What do you think about 1 to 10 shots? Didn't you think England had 1 to 10 in the cricket were a big price last week? Didn't we have this discussion?
Yes.
How did they do?
No, they lost.
Okay.
Actually, I'm looking forward to talking about the cricket.
Yes,
Yes. Carol, would you like to say anything about Bangladesh being such a big nation, beating Australia?
Oi. Yeah. Yeah. It's sport. You know, it would be interesting to see how the bets went. But you know, sometimes we have those weeks when things
go
when
wrong.
there's
Yeah, they
surprises
do.
and
Carol, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
When you were on the show about 4 or 5 weeks
Yeah.
ago, you said to me one of your top picks was West Ham for
I
top
know.
6.
Oh,
I went and
did we
told
have to
all
talk
my
about
mates.
that?
I phoned them up. So Carol knows what she's talking about. I phoned them. They've taken all their cash, put it on. So now they phoned me yesterday and said, is Carol... I said, yeah, she's on the show. So they want to know, should they go and take more of it now to finish top 6? So are they slow starters? We'll get a bigger price now.
They'll do okay still,
Yeah.
West Ham.
Do you reckon top 6?
I think they'll do okay, West Ham. They just
I
bought
don't know
so
about
well.
top.
to all-
Yeah, they did. They bought
top
really,
6
really
is out
well.
of their reach.
Yeah, I think
So
top
we
6
shouldn't have more on it.
This is
Not if they have a
No, I'm just asking.
I'm concerned. Listen, I'm concerned. Terry also tipped them to. Oh, well, he didn't say top 6,
he
but he
liked
said
that.
He said bottom 6.
Yeah. Did he say bottom
Yeah.
6?
West
no,
Ham,
not
I
top
still
6.
think will
Not
do
top
okay,
6.
don't you?
I've really been disappointed
Sure.
about West
No.
Ham. I must say.
Well, we'll relight this fuse later on because we want to talk about Randwick Race 7. I know that we don't really need to talk too much about it because that speaks for itself, Dom. So you're saying the double, Formality onto Winks. Winks is 1 to 12. Rod's got his favourite flag again, all the way from Australia. We'll be waving
Yeah.
that later on. What time was Winks running, by the way?
I think it's 7:50, Alistair.
7:50.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll cross over to that a little bit later on. There's a second page, but you know we don't really need to worry about these, I don't think. What about Turffontein today's first graded race of the season up on the Halfveld?
Yeah.
Spring Spree Stakes.
And in fact, yeah, the double that I'm tipping with Gary, that I double together the sports and the horse racing, I'm going to go for Drommy's Boy in the Spring Spree. I think there's a lot of value at 72. We're 92 now, drifted out. Okay. Unfortunately, Gary never got on yesterday.
It'll be back to 7 to 2 the moment we cross over to
Correct,
Randwick Race
yeah.
6, yeah?
So there's a lot to like about it. Randall Simons, Eddie Gled, they're both informed, drawn well on the inside track. And I think the price is great. I think on collateral form to Angel's Power, we've got a huge chance.
Okay, well, I'm tipping Angel's Power of Place as one of my best bets. Dom, thank you very much for that. So we're going to be watching Formality, Winks. We're actually going to take a treble now with Drommy's Boy.
Before we go, can I give you my rugby stuff?
Let's hear it. You got 15
Okay.
seconds.
15
10
seconds. Okay, I'm going to take the Cheetahs on the spread.
29 and a half.
Don't you know they
20
played
not.
last night, though?
Don't worry.
They're flying on the plane now, coming back. Okay,
No
Cheetahs.
problems.
Okay,
Listen to what I'm saying. The Cheetahs on the spread. Okay, you know what the story is there. And the Golden Lions on the spread.
Okay, well, there
And
you
the
heard
treble,
it.
who's the treble?
The treble's on to Formality.
Oh, I see what you're
yeah.
saying.
Okay, there we go. Get on. We don't have much time. Dom's going to leave. Liam's coming in, and then we'll chat about a lot more sport after this as we cross over to Randwick.
Last of the fillies arriving at the gates, Elise joining the others. We're inside the last 2 minutes now. Formality, the race favourite, in front of Elise and Champagne Cuddles. So runners are at the start. I am excited. Runners are about to load in. About to come up. Elise is being led up towards the gates now. The filly drawn the inside. So they're about to load forward. Runners going up. Yeah, Lise's gone forward to commence the loading process. And Whispered Secret following suit, going off at big odds. The roughie of the field, the Whispered Secret. Third place getter in the Champagne over a mile. Joy Filials goes forward. Group 1 plays to New Zealander. Joy Filials. With a slight name change for the Owls edit. Now C Annie goes forward. C Annie's ready. And I Am Excited comes up. And the last two now, Formality and Champagne Cuddles. For Melody, Elise and Champagne Cuddles fighting out the Silver Shadow here a fortnight ago. Been a big day for Kieran McAvoy. He takes For Melody into the gates. Kieran looking for 4 winners for the day. And Champagne Cuddles is the last to go in. For Melody, 2:30 with the tab fixed odds. The light's on. We're ready now for the Furious Stakes over 1,200 metres. Stand by for a break. They're off and racing. Whispered Secret missed the start. Sienna gets back as well, and Formality and Joy Filials were the first two out, with Joy Filials really being revved up to take the early lead. Elise's jump well, Saturday's I'm Excited camping just behind them. Further back to Whispered Secret from Sienna, and Champagne Cuddles has taken back to last, about 5 lengths off the leader, which is Joy Filials at the 800 metres, a neck in front to Formality. Elise on the fence, third on the inside of I'm Excited. 3 back the inside, Whispered Secret from Sienna, and Champagne Cuddles whips them in, coming past the 600 metres now, and Joy Filials just leads from the short price favourite Formality. Then came Elise on the inside of I Am Excited, further back to Whispered Secret, Sienna. Champagne Cuddles still last, hooking wide as they straighten up now. Formality takes it up from Joy Filials. I Am Excited runs on it, Elise's taking the gap, 2 further back to Champagne Cuddles, heading the line well. It's Formality in front, 200 out, Formality from Elise. Then came I Am Excited and Champagne Cuddles, but Formality still in front. Champagne Cuddles with a late surge. Champagne Cuddles going to Formality. They hit it. They're wide apart. It looks as though Formality's just won. Photo here, Formality and Champagne Cuddles. Then came I Am Excited and Elise for third. Further back to Sienna, Joy Filials, and Whispered Secret was the last to finish. 69.9 the time and the Furious. Formality gripping to the lead. Champagne Cuddles coming down the outside and was making one last-ditched attempt at trying to pinch it. It's been hard making ground today down the outside, and Champagne Cuddles has made that lunge at Formality, but there's just a margin for the favourite. Formality will beat Champagne.
I've got a good feeling about today after that. I mean, we can't lose now, can we? With that type of start?
No, that's a power start.
Just got there.
The second one's also a formality.
Oh, correct.
There you go.
Direct from Australia, eh? There it is. Going for win number 18 or 19?
19.
19. And Dom said it's won $13.5 million.
How much is that
$14
in our
million.
current? That's about £1 billion.
You would buy 3/4 of South Africa for that.
You could get 1.5 from Candlers, I think.
You can definitely get Cape Verde. I've just looked it up. There's 38 people live there.
Liam, have you ever been to Cape Verde?
No,
A man as well travelled as you?
I haven't. Small country, Rod. I mean, you're from an island,
We are from an island,
but
yeah.
this one is a little smaller. It's more like Rottnest Island in terms
Is
of
it
size.
that?
No, it's not
seriously?
that. It's not that.
How small is it? It's like Tasmania
It's not as
size.
big as Tasmania.
Well, Tasmania only holds, what, about 300 people?
No.
It's only a small place. No, seriously, is it really small? Are they a good... How do they be such a good soccer side to beat one of the powerhouses of Africa? How do
I
they
don't think
do it?
anybody has ever said that they're a good soccer
Yeah,
side.
they're
They just
not.
happen
Who?
to beat
Cape Verde?
Bafana.
Cape Verde
Well,
are
they have
not,
to be to
yeah.
beat one
Hence,
of the-
hence the surprise. No, they were bottom of our group, stone bottom. So
Technically
Yeah.
speaking, they're not even part of Africa in that sense because they like
Yeah.
quite a few kilometres
It's an
off
island.
the...
How
Yeah.
do they beat a powerhouse side like South Africa?
I think we took them for granted. That's why.
Okay, it's disappointing. Would you say, Gary, disappointing or not?
I was surprised, especially once we went 1-0
Yeah.
up, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, you don't expect
But, yeah, once we went 1-0 up, I thought worst case scenario, hold on for a 1-0 draw and everything. But once you go down to 10 men, we've seen that so often. I saw it last night in the rugby when the Cheetahs got a bloke sent off when they went down to 14 men. It's so difficult to compete with one man less in any sport today, especially men's singles, tennis. One guy gets sent off, the other guy always
Must
wins.
be tough to win.
Always wins, I promise you. It's incredible. You should see the stats on that, you know.
Well, I couldn't beat a wall in tennis.
There were
The wall
complaints
never
afterwards
loses.
about the pitch, but I mean, you look at the pitch and you think to yourself,
The
"No, but
pitch
it's
was like a carpet. It was better than what they get at
yeah,
Bloemfontein.
but the bounce was a little higher than usual. But the point is, you fly out a couple of days before and
Of
you get used
course,
to it.
which they did. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about World Cup qualifiers. We've got some European games, some African games that we want to talk about. And we are going to start off with Europe, are we? All right, Carol, anyone stand out for you? I mean, there do look to be one or two mismatches, But, you know, we want to try and make some money. Can we hit world sports betting for a few more?
Oh, what stands out? I know the big game is, of course, Spain and Italy. The fact that Spain playing at the Bernabeu, that's a big one. So definitely tipping Spain. Everything else, what? Minnows, Wales? Wales is looking good. Probably Republic of Ireland we'd go for.
And Croatia. Croatia once a 50.
Croatia,
I mean,
yes, definitely,
that
yeah.
one. All the 1-200s trotted up last night. England,
England. Oh.
gee, but did they struggle in
Germany.
the first half?
they waited for long.
Quite a few teams struggled. I mean, the favourites, but they got over the line. in the
Germany
end.
also
Yeah.
scored their winner late, right? Very late.
Okay, well, that's how Europe looks today. There are a few games tomorrow. But before we get to tomorrow, what about the African scene? Because that's quite a... You don't want to talk about this, do you? You really have an issue with
I'm
African World Cup qualifiers.
traumatized. I'm traumatized after the Bafana game. I really, really
When do they
am.
next play? The next play in 2 days?
play in Durban.
Yeah, in next week. So
But
it's
they've
the
got a couple.
sixth.
Don't they have a couple of home games first, and then they finish with a tough one away at Senegal, I think.
That's
am I
right. Yep. Yep.
And I think only. I'm correct in saying that only one team qualifies, or not?
Yes,
Yep.
one team from each group goes in.
Is this World Cup qualifiers
World Cup
you're talking
qualifier.
about?
Yes.
Otherwise, you don't go.
Africa.
But they got in once before. How did they qualify for that?
We had
No,
it at
no,
home.
more than once. More than once, to be fair.
Well, how come they qualified last time?
Don't answer this question. It's a wind-up.
It's not.
It's a wind-up. We have actually qualified twice the right way.
Hey, really?
Yes, by winning our group,
Yeah.
being a good team in Africa.
So you reckon?
And we're good hosts. I mean, let's be fair.
No, it is. Yeah.
I mean,
So-
you've stayed.
Very good, Alistair.
Australia won't let me back.
All right, let's talk about the African scene and get some more opinions from Carol. I love Chapolo Polo. After what they did a few years ago in the African Nations
I know,
Cup, I've got
they're
a soft spot for
special.
them.
Yeah, really, really special. In an extremely tough group and lots of pressure because Nigeria is doing well there. But for that encounter, it's a really tough one to call. But yeah, you'd have to go for Zambia, won't you? They're doing fantastically well. You look at their junior setup, they're really on the up and up. Gabon and Cote d'Ivoire, you'd have to go for Ivory Coast.
Say that again?
Cote d'Ivoire.
Oh, brilliant.
Ivory Coast are looking good in that one, and then obviously all eyes on this one, Senegal and Burkina Faso. We're hoping that maybe a draw just to blow this group wide open, and give us an opportunity. Yeah, but Senegal was tipped to be the danger team in our group. Obviously, us beating them, Burkina Faso turns out is the main contender there. But if they draw, then it just blows the group wide open, and we
Gives us
stand
a
a good chance. Yeah.
What I actually want to go back to the Bafana thing, because there was a lot of hope, a lot of expectations all of a sudden with Stuart Baxter at the helm. And for the last year, you know, Bafana have actually looked at an upward curve. Was
Yeah.
it the fact that we had to travel? Cape Verde, I mean, as you say, there are minnows, but they have improved over the last 5 years or so.
I think we just came into this particular game feeling overconfident, maybe a little too overconfident. We'd beaten Senegal, obviously, which were the favourites in this group. We were second in the group, same number of points as Burkina Faso, and we really didn't think that Cape Verde were going to be a factor at all. Some individuals will say that if you look at how it is that our team played, maybe we didn't seem as motivated, as patriotic. Ronan Williams, there were a few concerns there. Obviously, Tumelo Nkune is injured as the goalkeeper. So there were a number of factors. But I think that this was a major warning to say, you know, we can't rest on our laurels now, and we can't take any team for granted. I mean, we just beaten Nigeria after the longest time. So there was that upward curve for Bafana.
In terms of getting to the destination, I mean, the travel factor shouldn't be a big one there, because if you charter a flight, you fly straight to that airport. It's not like you're going to go there and then there. It's a straight
It's not
flight.
like what the Springboks had to do last week to get to Salta.
Certainly not. I mean, Port Elizabeth, Joburg, Sao Paulo, Buenos Aires, Salta.
Do you think they should have chartered a plane? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, it's too expensive, Alistair. Come on.
So if you're looking at the map of Africa, we're down here.
Yes.
Where's Cape Verde?
So you fly towards the bulge, which is on your left. So in other words, it's west.
West Africa,
and
yeah.
it's just off the western coast.
What, halfway up, sort of over there?
No, not halfway up, quite high up.
Oh, really?
Where the bulge is, basically.
Okay. How did we do in the African thing as well? That was the one was it this year as well, the African? Did we qualify for that?
For someone who proclaims to not like anything about football except
I
for
love
Manchester
football.
United.
Yeah, exactly. So do you really think they deserve to be in the World Cup? Is that a fair question?
If they win their group.
Well, yeah, that's the only way you're going to know. If you win your group,
to
yeah.
win the group, yeah.
I'm asking you guys because you follow it. more than I
Do
we
do
deserve
you
it?
think? Yeah.
I think we do.
Do you?
I really, really think we do.
What did the coach say last
Especially
night
after-
after getting a hiding from a minnow? What did he say?
It's football.
What
it
did he say?
happens,
He
so,
wasn't very
yeah.
happy. I mean,
What did he
Yeah.
say?
well, one of the things he brought up in the press conference was certainly the bounce, but he was also talking about the performance. The performance just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But then in terms of, you can't even say mitigating circumstances because he was talking about the artificial pitch and the way the ball bounced.
Is the pitch,
they
pitch
just-
different for both
they-
sides, or is it the same?
You'd have to ask him that one. It's
Exactly.
obviously the same, but
It's a poor effort, isn't it, to be beaten
Yeah.
by a country like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
It
it is
is.
disappointing.
It is.
But
and
those
you don't-
things happen.
And then there's discipline. You don't get people sent off. I mean, that's just unacceptable.
Sloppy
Yeah.
penalty. No, it was a bad performance. It was a
Yeah.
bad 90 minutes. It was a bad 50 minutes. The last 50 minutes were bad, you know. And I mean, doesn't matter. They can still come back. They've got a
That's the
couple
main
of
thing.
reasons. And the answer to your question is true. If they win their group, then they deserve it. If they don't win their group, no excuses. They
Look,
don't
we're
deserve it.
playing at home. We're playing them again at home, so
Where are we playing them? Durban?
Moses
Durban.
Mabhida, yeah. So we can't complain about
The
the
pitch
pitch
there and that,
conditions
yeah.
and such and such.
Hopefully they won't have a charter flight. They will have to fly it maybe to Dakar first,
And
Johannesburg, then Durban.
Do you think
And
they'll
then,
complain about there's not enough bounce in that pitch in Durban?
It's enough time to water it before Tuesday.
Is it on Tuesday?
I think it's on Tuesday.
Are you going to go down? Let's go down.
I've already booked my ticket.
Well played. Another thing I want to ask you just quickly on the South African football scene is poor old Rivaldo Coetzee.
I know, right? The thing is, there was so much excitement because Ice Cape Town basically said the move was done and dusted. He's going to the Scottish champions, Glasgow Celtic, and then. That deal fell through, but the major concern is he's been apparently carrying this foot injury for quite a while. And he's been playing okay. He was in the Bafana squad, but the fact that it was picked up in the medical at Celtic obviously affected his position in the team in Bafana. But there's a good outcome in this, and that's the fact that he's completed his move to Mamelodi Sundowns, who wanted him initially.
I'm sure he would have rather been earning pounds than rands.
The weather's better here than it is there.
Well, that's one part of silver lining. How did your last medical go?
Let me tell you something. I don't understand what goes on medical. No, I'm a machine.
Eh?
I'm a machine. Pulse 54. I'm an athlete. But let me just tell you that.
Really, 54?
54, I
You know,
swear.
some squash players don't even have a heart
I
rate
don't know
that
how it
low.
happened. I swear I
Bjorn
was
Borg
shocked.
had one of 49 before Wimbledon finals way back, but
Really?
54
And I
is not bad.
You know who had the lowest one was that guy Miguel Indurain had won the Tour de France.
And this is him going up Alpe d'Huez now.
That was before he went up Alp anything, right?
Was that before he was caught or not?
No, he was never
No,
caught.
he was never
wasn't he?
caught.
No, he was a
Big
machine.
Big Mig. He was much bigger than most cyclists.
He had bigger lungs, so the oxygen, he could actually take in more oxygen.
That was
than
like
most.
Farlap, the horse in Australia. had.
Yes, correct.
It's in the museum. Went and saw it as a kid.
What, Fallout?
No, well, he's in the museum. His heart. It's a extraordinary bigger heart than most horses, and that's why he was so special.
A horse
But
with
we
heart.
talk about this. What about that guy that went for the medical at Chelsea and walked out halfway
Yeah.
through?
Ross Barkley.
Yeah,
What happened there?
halfway through. He said, that's it, I don't feel like coming to Chelsea, packed his bags and left.
And went back to Everton.
Yeah.
And Everton have told him, get out.
Have they?
Well, basically. They said,
Yeah.
go. Spurs wanted him. Chelsea wanted him. I mean, was London that bad, Carol?
Oh.
You've been there a few times.
I have. I'm actually going next week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Catch the last bit of summer there.
Pressure.
Catch the last bit of summer.
Yeah, I think summer's done now though.
There's a
Shall-
beach,
shall we get a
there's a
bit
beach
chilly
in
now?
Brighton that Terry recommends.
We're at a Pebble Beach.
No.
So we tell about the Oval game.
Yeah.
Last week's
There's
show.
a good. There's a great place to go. Great tip I got from Liam. Never mind his
Great
tip
tip.
about Sharapova and this, right?
Yes.
He's got a great place to go in London called the Piano Bar
Okay.
on Kensington High Street. Get there early. I promise you'll have a great evening there. Great evening. It's fantastic there, right?
That's a great
Everybody should go. The viewers as well. Piano Bar, Kensington High
High Street, Kensington.
Okay.
Are they going to sponsor? Are they going to have their name on the board next week by any chance?
Hopefully.
All right, now let's move into the UEFA qualifiers, and this is Sunday's games that we're going to have a look at. We've already done Saturdays. There were a few mismatches on Saturday. Sunday, Carol.
Netherlands.
Oh, all right, that's easy.
France. My favourites. I love France.
That could also be the
excited.
final score, actually. 17.
Is Luxembourg about the same size as Cape Verde?
Who?
Luxembourg,
Smaller.
Slightly smaller.
slightly smaller.
You must remember Cape Verde isn't maybe not just one island. There's like little pieces.
A
And
bit
Gibraltar
the-
probably
is it
smaller
like
than
the
all
West
of them.
Indies a bit, is it?
What's
Like-
that?
No. West Indies. If you put them together, it's quite a big lump.
Okay. All right.
Gibraltar's also
sorry,
a small
Carol.
place.
Yes.
Getting our geography lessons as
Yeah.
well. Portugal.
Portugal,
Obviously,
yeah,
yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo. So Portugal are going to look good. As do my pick would also be Greece and Belgium.
It'll actually be a
That's
good game.
That's going to be a really, really good game. I'd go for Belgium though in that one.
Didn't they score a lot of goals the other night?
Who?
Belgium.
Belgium,
Did
yep,
they?
yep. So I'd definitely go for Belgium.
Okay.
In friendlies, international friendlies, Alistair, has the Faroe Islands ever played Egypt?
Have the Faroe Islands ever played Egypt in a friendly? That would actually be a great game to have.
Very static, I would imagine.
Have you been waiting to say that one for a while?
No, I just...
So yeah,
Okay,
interesting.
absolutely.
Who's going to win
It's
this?
interesting to South America. Was there Argentina under pressure to get through?
Well,
Yes,
they're
and-
not.
No,
They're
that
not
was
under
it.
pressure to get
Worst
through.
case scenario, they're going back door, right?
Well,
And
worst
they
case.
got 2 easy home games.
Yes, well, they've got. If they do finish fifth, do you know who they end up playing in the intercontinental qualifier?
Probably like Argentina. I mean, probably New Zealand.
New
or
Zealand,
Australia,
correct.
Exactly.
They beat the Solomon Islands 6-1
Who
yesterday.
did?
New Zealand.
Well, is Solomon Islands like Cape
Well,
Verde?
what about Solomon Islands playing Israel? Like Faroe Islands. and
that'll
Egypt?
be
There you
very
go.
interesting.
Good game, right?
So if Australia
I'll go on the
qualified,
spread.
No, Australia are also under pressure to qualify.
and New Zealand?
Not yet. They've got to probably play Argentina.
Oh,
And
really?
they ain't going to win that.
Is Australia going to make it?
Maybe you've just asked that.
Well,
Maybe,
it's asking.
maybe not. Well,
Maybe not.
There
You mean as a nation?
are
I
four
don't know.
teams that have made it thus far. One because they're the hosts, Russia. Iran, they've made it. Brazil have made it, and so have Japan. They're the four teams that have made it so far.
And Japan have made the next Rugby World Cup as well.
Who did?
Yeah, they're cruising
Did
all
they?
around.
Only reason I'm interested in Australian soccer now because I'm not too interested in Australian cricket. I'm looking
No,
for
well,
a
you're
new
going to be
team to
interested. You're
follow.
going to be interested just now.
Yeah.
But Rod, you'll be glad to know that we have looked for a map. We've sourced a map for Cape Verde, and they can't find it. So small.
Oh, they've got one.
Yeah, no, they got one. It's coming any moment now, but it's very, very small. We had to get
They're
the
just
mag-
looking off the bulge.
Has
Yes.
anyone
Yeah.
been there? Where is it? Oh,
You need to go further
You already
left.
said no.
Go further
Oh,
west.
so far it's out of picture.
It's a very,
It's marked. It's
a
actually.
very detailed atlas. Very good, you know.
Is it a tourist destination? Anyone been
I'll tell you what. If you actually, we googled it yesterday when we were
Further,
in
if you
studio.
go further north, you end up in the Canary Islands where you have Tenerife and Gran Canaria. That's
Yeah,
more
right.
of a
Very nice,
tourist destination.
and
Not so
Ibiza.
much.
Who?
All the
No,
all
that's in the
the-
mid, Alistair.
That's in
Jeez.
Spain, isn't it? That place you said, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ibiza?
That's in the Mediterranean. It's not quite the same thing. I mean, that's like
It's on the other
Well, they've
side.
got
Different
all
body
got
of
a lot
water
Spanish
altogether.
connections.
Yes.
They do have some Spanish connections, all of them, that's true.
Who was that explorer?
Bartolomé Dias,
Vasco
no, he
da
was
Gama,
Portuguese.
wasn't it? Vasco da
they-
Gama?
I mean,
they're
if you
all
talk about
Portuguese.
Spanish connections, you could say Chile. I mean, it's like that doesn't hold any
Just
water.
because they speak Spanish, they Spanish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. All right. Well, I want to talk about tennis, Liam.
Yes.
How's
What
Maria
about it?
Sharapova going? I haven't been following.
That was an outstanding match. And you have to say that, given the fact that she was out for so long and injuries, that first game, I mean, obviously she struggled. I mean, she didn't find her rhythm. But for sheer effort, I mean, the guts she showed in that game was outstanding. What I did say last week was she wouldn't make the third round. So I thought, as a bit of insurance,
And she still
she will
cruised through
struggle. Even if she makes it to the first round, the physical toll put on her in that first game might actually come to haunt in the second one, and she got through that one as well.
And I mean,
Good
the
on her.
effort she goes through with all those grunts. I know. No, it's ridiculous.
You have to wonder, don't you?
No, for sure. There are more grunts there than in the cheap porno movie, right? I mean, let's be perfectly honest. It's the noise. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. If I made those noises, I'd pass clean out. Crazy.
Well, there are a number of matches today, so let's have a look and see what World Sports Betting are offering.
I'm a
on the-
blushing meadow
on-
at the
On the
moment.
ladies' side, thank goodness they got a slider. Phew. Right, Pliskova against Zhang. There's Safrova against Nara.
That's the third one. That's the game in, on that
Coco
list
van
of
der
them.
Veeg is a certainty at even money.
You think?
Really, yeah?
Yeah,
You think?
I think.
On the basis of?
she's American.
Oh, that
Look,
makes
they'll
all the
support her
difference.
clearly, but I mean that's.
Imagine they
don't-
drop Trump into
No,
the
no.
main event
In
of the
fact,
men's with
I'd
him
go.
and that, doesn't
I'd
it?
go Radwanski in that game actually.
Okay, well, one of us are going to be a loser.
Who was that chick the other night, the American who won? And when she won, she kept pointing at herself like this. Who was that one? She, I watched it on Catch Up, and she was pointing at herself.
You
after
watched it
she
on
won
Catch Up?
Eh?
On catch up.
Yeah. And she was pointing at herself like this when she won to the crowd. Like, I didn't know what you meant. She's got a dirty shirt on. She's had a reduction.
Well, you watching it on catch up.
Eh? Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Do you have the same decoder as everyone else?
Sure.
That's what I'm wondering.
Why do you watch the tennis on catch-up?
Because I don't sit up all night watching it. No.
That's the way to do it.
Oh, I can't. No, I've got to get here early. Listen, what about Federer? Can I ask you a question? He's had tough matches, hasn't he? It's the first time he's gone, is it 5 sets each time? Can he last?
I've got a funny feeling that both the men's and women's side are going to be won by, I wouldn't say unknowns.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how you pronounce
Dominic Thiem.
That's your
big
fancy
runner.
the whole time, you know.
Big
Yeah.
runner.
How do you pronounce it? Team.
Thiem, yes.
But it's Thiem.
He's Austrian.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
they
team
are
is
a bit
TAM.
He's Austrian.
Okay.
There he is. He's somewhere on this page. There with Manarino,
Yeah.
3-10.
You know, there are a few, I mean,
I'll tell you another guy who I think is going to go deep is Dolgopolov.
you just said that because you like pronouncing his name, right? I mean, how deep can Dolgopolov go? You know what I'm saying? I mean, really. But I mean, if you look there,
Who's the even money shot third from the bottom? Rod?
Yeah, I've backed him a couple of times. Zamba.
Zamba.
I can't even see it.
I
Where's
tell
the
you,
B?
to tie into what you said earlier, a guy like Del Potro, if he just stays fit,
He's
if there's
won it,
He's won it.
He has, yeah.
Won it about 20
2009 he
years
came
ago.
through. So if he stays fit, and tying into what you said earlier, if the number 5 setters end up costing Roger Federer, a guy like Del Potro is a
I
it's a
think
good
Timo
bet.
won it. But aren't we just ignoring the obvious? Why should Nadal not win it? Let me ask you that. Why shouldn't Nadal win it?
If you look at the way his American hardcourt, when I say American, it's North American hardcourt season has gone, fairly up and down. So
He's
it's
won
no,
there
it's no
twice.
guarantee. No, he's won
He's
there,
not
obviously.
guaranteed. He's not guaranteed, but I mean, he's still a big runner. We're just
Yeah,
ignoring him
yeah,
like
yeah.
he can't play anymore. That's not the truth. You know what I mean? He's got records this year at Roland Garros. You know what I'm saying?
Who's number one?
He's
Gary?
had a good
Number
year.
one ranked tennis player in the world.
He's had a good
you know, and I mean, he's
The bottom line is,
crowd like
even
him.
though I've just said that, I think the men's and the women's side, you know, there's a chance of an unknown winning it.
Definitely.
A Nadal Federer final, I don't care if it happened in the Australian Open. If it happens again, the whole world's going to watch.
I think they're supposed to meet in the semis, aren't they?
Yeah, that's
They
it.
will, that's also true.
Yeah, so if it does happen in the final, then
Yeah,
think of
then it's-
everybody
yeah.
watch, right?
Somebody will
Especially
change
the
their name.
semi-final
Yeah.
was great. You know what I mean? Then if they have a good semi, everybody will be there for the final.
Are you a tennis fan, Carol?
Here and there. I was going to ask Kevin Anderson.
Yes.
When is
He's
he?
still there.
Yeah, he won
Yeah,
last
yeah,
night.
when
Yeah,
is
he's
he
in.
playing? Yeah.
In fact, he's playing against an unseeded player in the 4th round.
So he's got through that round already.
Yep.
He won that
Yep.
round last night, right?
He's in the
Yes.
4th. He won the 3rd round.
Yes. So
Yeah.
what was that betting?
That was for the 3rd round tonight.
Yeah, so I'm saying he's already won
I
that
think
round.
he's already
Anderson.
through, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's what yeah, we agree.
Okay, good.
In a
So
very
that
roundabout way.
It's easier to disagree with.
So get on Kevin Anderson now because it's a good price.
Exactly.
All right, that's pretty much tennis done and dusted. Don't forget, World Sports Betting are doing a number of great things. Are you a night owl? In fact, I think everyone on this panel is a night owl. Live betting on the US Open. Look at the state of the Statue of Liberty.
You get it.
Very good.
Late night
I
hour.
like that.
Who does the artwork for World Sports Betting? That's
I can tell you who gave them the idea.
That's after Trump won the election. That's exactly what Lady Liberty did.
Exactly.
What?
Oh, I hope Donald Trump's not watching this. Right, don't forget you can visit worldsportsbetting.co.za if you are a night owl. There are a number of specials on the US Open, and well, that is the only thing that you can watch after about 10 o'clock at night, and it's absolutely outstanding. Right, now we're going to move on to cricket.
All right, who's coming in to take my spot? Gee, Australia, eh? How bad are they? But we did say last week that they haven't won. I know my bet was them to win the series.
Yes.
But they haven't won in 11 years in the subcontinent.
I thought you said since 2011 last week, didn't you say that?
I just make stuff up. I can't remember what I said last week.
There's
But
the bet-
sometimes people remember.
But they were very disappointing. eh?
in fairness, there's the
They were
betting
very-
on screen, and Australia even money. Would you be climbing in?
I think it's going to be really important. If you had a look at that wicket, that's going to be what it
Exactly.
is. You've got to bat first, isn't it? It doesn't matter
Exactly.
who you are, what you are. I mean, you were telling me, what's that guy's name? They're the best all-rounder in the world?
Shakib Al Hassan.
Read something interesting this morning. Since he's been playing, he has taken 30% of the wickets in the games that he's played.
Of the Bangladesh wickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's made 13% of all their runs
Wow.
since he's been playing. So it just shows you that. How's he done? I haven't really followed him. How's he done when he's gone overseas, that guy?
Average.
Exactly.
Off the
So,
subcontinent.
Yeah. So,
But I mean, that's standard. I
no,
mean,
that's
very
fair
few
and
people
fair
do
comment.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that ball, did you see it when what's his name took 6 wicket lines? He took 6 wickets. His hand was absolutely black from the bully that they used on that pitch. Did you see it? The ball.
really, yeah?
Yeah. When the seam was coming back to the bowler, he was trying to get the stuff out.
Are you sure it was the bully?
What would it have been?
I don't know.
Gary.
I'm asking.
But anyway, it's quite difficult. But I was watching it on my on my computer upstairs. Obviously, we've got to work, but I keep it in the corner. And Australia were going pretty well. They got off to a decent start. But to be fair, Smith was out. How they never gave him out first ball stumped, I don't know. There was nothing behind the line. So they had a bit of a life. He looked like he was going to get him home, I thought, at one stage. But then obviously it took, but they lose by 20 in the end, wasn't it?
29 runs, but I mean, and it was a decent last week at partnership, a couple of sixes to get them into it. But didn't we say last week that Australia, when Alistair said they're such a good side, we said they rely too heavily.
You said that?
He did. He said they're going to win
I
the
said
Ashes
they'll win the
5-0.
Ashes 5-0. I mean, saying
and we said
England
they
got
can't.
thumped by the West Indies.
They didn't get thumped. We'll get on to that in a
so
moment.
fair play.
It was one every 100.
It was a great game.
But Australia relied too much on Warner and Smith in the batting.
Exactly,
That's the truth.
100%.
Besides that, if you get those two, it goes back to Tendulkar in the old days when he went and wasn't a great Indian side. The rest of them used to just say, well, he's out, how can we succeed?
But hang on a second. This time last year, England went to Bangladesh as well and lost. I'm not saying that England are a great side. I don't think they're a great side. I just think both sides, there's not much between them. But the fact that Australia are at home and the fact that England also rely, let's be honest, on maybe more than two players.
England got a good side.
They haven't got a
Cook's
middle order.
Cook's world class.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Root has made 15
is one of the best in the world,
yes,
right?
Okay.
You've got Bairstow,
Off form.
Stokes,
Great.
Ali, coming
Did you
down
just say
later on.
Bairstow
Man
off
of the
form?
series.
Wokes. You know what I mean? These oaks can get run.
I agree
England's
with
got
you,
more
Gary.
going
I
for them
really
at the
agree.
moment than Australia. I mean,
It was,
there's no
and it might have
question.
been, you know, I just want to say something. I'm never here to criticise captains, but I thought that Root's declaration, what happens, right? The guy's sitting in the change room, and they see the TV set, right? And he keeps seeing every time the camera moves on to Root, and they hear Bumble, oh, when's he going to declare? They can't get 3 runs and over. And Root pretends he's not interested.
That was absolutely brilliant.
But everybody
proper
looks at him
Bumble.
and he gets so... And that, at 1-0 up in a series, was an unnecessary declaration. At 1-0 down, that's one thing.
Yeah.
He could have come back the next day and left them nearly 4 runs and over. And then he could have set the field that he wants and do whatever he wants with the backup that he's not going to lose. I thought it was a little bit too aggressive at 1-0 up, and he'll learn from that.
Only thing I'll say about that, Gary, if you're trying to make cricket exciting and trying to get the public
That's
in.
true.
I actually did a show for someone else during the week, and we spent half an hour talking about it. What's happening to Test cricket in the world? Now, the only people are getting crowds, and I must say the crowds are diminishing in India for Test cricket. It's mainly T20s and one days, they pack it out.
Fair comment.
I mean, the other ground...
I'm so surprised.
yeah, why?
No, that's happening.
Did you not sense any sarcasm there?
But didn't you enjoy the-
Okay, why is the sarcasm? Why?
No, because it's a very, as we said earlier about Alistair, it's the most obvious thing. I mean, it's like you introduce something like the IPL, of course your test crowds are going to
Well,
be.
we were discussing the other night, how does Test cricket get back? How do you get crowds to come and watch cricket now for 5 days? How do you do it? Because all the, I know I forgot the word, but I did remember it, millennials, right? They bored. They don't want to go and sit for 7
I
hours.
might have an idea for you.
What's that?
What about if you go to 4 days and 110 overs a day?
Exactly, and you have to declare it, that's it.
Maybe you get a day to bat, right?
Well, but
110 overs and that's your chop, something like that.
If a batsman does need a boundary in like 5 overs,
Shoot
he's
him.
out.
You're out.
Exactly. If you give him even 90 overs a day, Gary, if you look at it, how many Test matches go to 5 days?
No, none anymore.
Exactly. So if you said to a side you've got 90 overs to bat, they go out and make 350, how many are they going to make in 90? So, and they've got to have this Test championship because every year they give them someone a bit of cash who finish the
people
top
like
of
a
the
trophy, don't they? I mean,
They do. And then you can say that's the world champion. There he is. We played over 2 years. You have to play home and away
Well,
against
at the end of the
every
day,
team.
what do rankings actually mean?
Well, exactly. It means
because,
nothing.
I mean, the perfect illustration is the way the Proteas go. They're number 1 in the world in every ODI. Well,
I'll get off their backs. They tried their best. Gee, you're hard on them. Why are you so hard on them?
Jeez.
I'm right behind them.
But let me ask you this, though. Those 2 Test matches last week,
Yeah.
I cannot believe anybody could say that they didn't enjoy the last couple. I enjoyed every one.
absolutely brilliant.
I enjoyed every single one of them, you know.
I thought it was a good declaration. I really do. I'm going to go back today. It took a lot of guts to do that. Is rightly what you said, Gary. He didn't have to do anything. He's one up in the series. You're chasing me. Good luck. All right. But he went out and made a good declaration. He thought he backed himself and his bowlers to knock him over.
Yeah.
But the pitch didn't deteriorate. It didn't do too much. And good luck to West Indies. I mean, that's a hell of a boost for them, you know, because
agree
they've
with
been
that.
downtrodden for quite a long time. Maybe this is a spark.
They're everybody's
they need.
second favourite team.
They brought in a new coach. Where's he from? Where's that guy?
Who is?
The new coach of West Indies.
There's the betting for the third test at Lords.
We're bringing in a new coach as well. Where's he from?
West Indies. No, but I'm saying who's the West Indies coach now?
There's the betting.
Right. What is it?
2 to
England
7
obviously-
England.
Look, England are going to. I reckon they'll wipe them. I really think they'll come out
Well, the
and
West,
destroy
I
them.
mean, it's always been the case with the West Indies, certainly since I've
Yeah.
been alive. Can they play 2 games alike?
No. But I think it'll give a bit of confidence because I can't remember when I've ever seen a West Indian, except going back into mid-80s and early 90s, where they had quality players. Now, that guy's come out and scored 200s. Now, I don't care who you are. I think that was the first class ever on that Headley wicket to score 200s in
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. That's the most fascinating stat I've heard in the last
Considering
month.
that Jeff Boycott played there for 50 years as well.
No, if you
Yeah, but there wasn't enough time. They're only
Yeah,
3-day
he was
games.
like 99 not out both innings.
Yeah, over 3 days.
Ran out of partners.
Carol, I want to actually come to you with regard to this global T20 tournament that's launched. Teams have finally got their players on board and
Yep.
things like that. I mean, finally, South African cricket is now starting to get to where the RPL and the Big Bash have been with all that. Well, listen, we got a chance now at least.
Oh, jeez. You got to look at those sides. And
Yes.
honestly, no, be honest with yourself.
You got a chance of a call-up if someone gets hurt in Benoni.
I'm actually already been phoned. I'm the replacement roller at one of the grounds if it breaks down. But some of those sides, to be fair,
They're carrying a little bit of luggage somewhere.
sure. You've been kind, Gary.
Speaking of carrying luggage. But Carol, I mean, it's nice to have that type of spotlight on South Africa with regard to T20.
It is a
cricket.
lot of excitement last weekend, wasn't there? With all of the different announcements. And as you said, T20 is now the craze, isn't it? So, yeah, a lot of individuals excited. Money, lots of money.
Big money
going
for
into
guys
it.
that
Big
wouldn't have
money,
made
yeah.
money like that before.
Who's that guy from East London, the 19-year-old? Made an
Yes.
absolute fortune.
Yeah. No,
Fast bowler. It's a name, I can't remember his
But where
name now,
did
but
that
it's a
fit
guy
in
to
all
watch.
this cricket? I'm being serious. Don't we still have to play this year, the West Indies? I think we've
No, no,
played
Bangladesh are coming.
Bangladesh, Australia.
Australia, India are coming.
India.
God knows when. Are there any
Oh, no,
clarity on
that's
that?
a shocker, isn't it? The
I mean-
fact that we, well, as things stand, I think
It's the third time in a row.
New Year's test is
Be in
that's
February.
apparently assured, but I mean, there's no Boxing Day test.
Really?
Well, they haven't actually announced it, but the point is that it's leaning that way.
Hasn't Cape Verde got a cricket side?
Actually, funny you say that because now there's talk that South Africa are going to invite Afghanistan to play in a Boxing Day test.
Oh, really? Yeah. That should get a big crowd.
Yeah. Right. Techie Town competition. Let's chat about that because last week's 1,000 Rand Techie Town voucher was won by Joe Joseph. Last week's answer was B. Rocky Mar. How was the fight, by the way?
I've got a
fight?
view about that. Everybody says he did well, the Irishman. Besides his interview, I don't think so. His game plan was poor. He went out there to try box the master of boxing.
Yes.
He had no chance. He had to go out there, throw some lead and try hit it. He was outdone by an absolute machine. Mayweather was good. Okay.
Mayweather didn't even once.
Did you
Now, his
actually
thing
think it was
he
a
used to-
fight? To start
with
off
his
with?
shoulder.
I mean,
He didn't even,
contest.
remember he, like with his shoulder normally he goes in and avoids all the punches. He didn't even bother. He was walking forward.
Okay, well, we'll
Oh,
dissect
fine.
that in 30 seconds after this. If you haven't heard of England's all-time leading goal scorer, who is it? Is it A, Gary Bailey? Is it B, Wayne Rooney? Or is it C, Sir Bobby Charlton? Don't forget you can answer with your name and surname. Competition closes on Monday at 6 p.m. SMS your answer to 44472. Terms and conditions apply. SMS costs 50 cents and you know all the rest. Right, we are going to talk boxing after this. We run out of time. We all want to see Winks. Let's go see if she can make it 19 in a row.
Red Excitement, that has been well back to run a hole. Winx dominates obviously the win fixed odds market, but also money around for Sense of Occasion to run in the top 3, and Life Less Ordinary. So, yeah, they're the ones they're playing.
And on track, 109 to 110 dominates things there. The joint $26 second picks are Red Excitement and Life Less Ordinary, and Sense of Occasion 21 out to $31. As you'd expect, nothing's been back to beat Winx as she shoots for 19 straight. To Warwick Nabil first, Chelmsford Stakes other side.
They're ready to go. Gates are back at the 2,000 metres and they're away. Raleigh Christine off the inside seemed to commence okay. Good speed in the middle from one for later. And Baghdad Comet's going to drive up with the red cap. Just slotting across and behind them is the Housemaid. Over on the inside is the Mexican. Fandango getting a little bit keen. Just off them is Miss Danny. And back to the tail went Forminius. Down to the winning post now. A bit over a mile to go, and going to the front is Baghdad Comet. Led from one for later, who's a little bit keen and a little bit wide into that corner. They were followed by Fandango, and Miss Danny's now out 3 wide. Over on the inside, Raleigh Christine, followed by the Mexican. Then came the Housemaid, and Forminius was back at the tail as they go by the 1,400 metres mark. And Baghdad Comet shows the way. Joined on the outside by the 7-year-old mare, one for later. It goes up to eyeball the leader as they go to the 1,200 metres. Raleigh Christine is over on the inside. Fandango outside of it. They were followed by Miss Danny, who's been trapped out wide around the first 2 corners. Between horses, the Housemaid, the Mexican over on the inside, and close up next of all is Forminius. So they're fairly compact here as they go by the 1,000 metres, and the front runner is a Baghdad Comet out by a neck. Over one for later the outside, a length and 3/4 to Fandango. Miss Danny's been wide, but now tracking forward, and Forminius is quickly around the outside, chiming in as well. They were followed by Raleigh Christine, then came the Housemaid, and they were followed next of all as they come down the side by the Mexican. They go to the final 600 metres, and the front runner is a Baghdad Comet, but it's under a little bit of pressure, being a hard-ridden one for later in second. Miss Danny going up wider. Forminius is trying hard but very deep. Fandango hard-ridden on their backs, and the Housemaid was about 2 lengths away, followed by the Mexican, who needs a little bit of room. They come to the final 250. Baghdad Comet still defies them as they go inside the final 200 metres now. Fandango's off the fence. One for later is down the outside. Miss Danny whacking away. Forminius is gone, and now chiming in quickly is the Housemaid. The Housemaid swoops up on the outside. Getting through late is the Mexican, but the Housemaid wins. The Mexican runs second. Third one for later. Fourth is tight. Baghdad Comet fought on well, or Fandango. Close up behind them is one for later. They were followed by Miss Danny, Forminius.
Declan Bates salutes on the Housemaid at $2.60 and $1.70. The Mexican, and one for later, Phil the Miners at $1.90 and $2.10, 3, 5 and 7. 2 races to come at Warwick Nabil. Here comes the big one of the afternoon for Winx fans as she goes for 19 straight. The Group 2 Chelmsford Stakes over the famous Royal Randwick Mile. 60 seconds away. She's all the rage at $1.09, and obviously Brass with the earmuffs applied first time during the race. All eyes on at the start.
Yes, just adds a little bit of spice there with the earmuffs on, but that's to just get her to mend her ways a little bit at that start. But I've seen her in the parade ring. There she is there. She looks in outstanding fettle. Few rough edges there knocked off through the course of those first couple of runs this prep, or trials and runs, and she'll be A1 this afternoon, I'd say, so very hard to beat. And if she gets the cash, she'll join some illustrious names, won't she, Andrew? You've got the list of winners.
Yeah, the likes of Lonhro, Might and Power, Emancipation, Kingston Town, Gunsin, Tulloch, Burnborough, Farlap, etc., etc. Breaking news, she actually didn't win this last year because she didn't race. Hartner won it by 8 in her absence.
It's all the rage, as we know. Best back to run the placings, Sense of Occasion and Life Less Ordinary.
Let's head to Royal Randwick. We're racing for $250,000 in the time-honoured Chelmsford Stakes.
$1.09 today about Winx. Harper's Choice goes in, and Allergic is the last to go forward. So here we go for the Chelmsford Stakes. Stand by for a start. Winx drawn, barrier number 3. Slight hold up here. Gates open now. They're racing. She's jumped much better today, Winks. Settles about midfield. And Red Excitement's going to take up the early lead. Chicante quickly into stride going to second. Harper's Choice third, then Sense of Occasion. And Winks is going up into fifth early stages, followed by Who Shot the Barman. Then came Antonio Giuseppe. Saracen buried behind them. Further back to Lifeless Ordinary from Libran. Lasquetti Spirit gets well back. And Allergic is the last one. Red Excitement ensures a good gallop here. Running along 2.5 clear from Chicante. 3 further back to Harper's Choice. Oh, 4 lengths then to Sense of Occasion. Followed further back by Who Shot the Barman and Winks about midfield. 1 off the fence. Further back to Antonio Giuseppe around Libran and Saracen between them. Then came further back to Lifeless Ordinary, Lasquetti Spirit and Allergics last of all. Josh Parr ensuring a very strong tempo here on Red Excitement. Gets the best part of 6 in front of Chicante at Harper's Choice. Now Winks is starting to get into her work, going into a clear 4th. A Sense of Occasion under pressure. Then came Antonio Giuseppe, Lifeless Ordinary and Saracen trying to pick up, but around the turn, Red Excitement. He's certainly making it exciting. Parr sitting pretty quietly, 6 lengths clear. Now Winks is getting cracking. Further back to Antonio Giuseppe, Chicante still there. Red Excitement 5 in front. Now Winks has only got 1 more to pick off. Red Excitement 3 in front. Winks is coming. Red Excitement, but here she comes. Right over the top, Winks. Barnstorming finish again. 19 in a row. Winks beats Red Excitement and Chicante third. Then Antonio Giuseppe, Lifeless Ordinary. Further back to Harper's Choice, Allergic, Who Shot the Barman, Libran, Sense of Occasion, Lasquetti Spirit, and Saracen was last of all.
There we go.
Another Australian champion. Can you believe it, eh? No, it was a good race. And I think you pointed it out pretty well. They set a true pace. And you're saying that's on the top end of her sort of
they
distance.
tested her there.
Yeah.
Man, didn't touch her, did you, Bowman?
No.
Just
Hands
like
and
last
heels.
time. Yeah, no, she's special. 19 in a row. How would
It
you
looks
like
like
to
she
earn
could
a
go further. I mean, you said it's the top end of her staying capability. To me, it looked like she could go another furlong easily there today. But he holds her up so well, doesn't he? You know what I'm saying? That it doesn't matter if it's a little... It was a brilliant ride as well. But what
Well,
a
you didn't
filly.
panic, did he? He obviously knows what she can do and whatever. Because that horse must have been, what, 10, 12 lengths in front?
Yeah.
Like the race at Fairview yesterday, Strato Cruiser turned for him. I'm calling the race. Just obviously was out of shot. I thought it was 8 lengths in front. They went to the shot from the grandstand. It was 20 lengths in front. Couldn't
What's the
believe
name
it.
of the horse?
Strato Cruiser.
And it
So
held
it's
on.
just like it. It's just like Winks.
Yeah, just like Wings.
Okay, right.
Right, quickly talk about Formula One, then we'll get into best bets. Of course, it's the Italian Grand Prix this weekend, and here is the betting. Lewis Hamilton is 9 to 20, and I'm sure you'll start on pole. Liam, who's going to win the Italian Grand Prix? Of course, in front of the Tifosi, the red crew will be there.
Hamilton will have to be the favourite because the track suits McLaren a little bit more than Ferrari.
McLaren?
Mercedes. Mercedes. It suits them a little bit more. They've got the straight line speed. But Vettel will be good for the podium, I think. I mean, he'll probably have to gun for second. I doubt that he'll be able to outpace Hamilton. He was quickest yesterday.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and you'd expect him to get pole again, which then will give him the record for the... Well,
Yes,
the number
break
of poles.
Schumacher's record.
Yes, indeed.
Something-
But of course, it's Ferrari's home Grand Prix, so there will be passionate support for them, trying to will on Vettel and Raikkonen. But yeah, Mercedes should have the.
Gary, what do you say?
I think they run 1-2 Mercedes. They just seem to be a little bit too quick around the track. I know it's a home ground advantage for Ferrari, but I just think that Hamilton will get pole and I don't think he'll get overtaken the whole race. That's just my opinion.
It's quite an emotional one for Ferrari as well. It's the 70th anniversary of Enzo building his first car, so
Look how far they've come.
exactly.
If Hamilton wins this, does he go top?
Depends where Vettel finishes.
Yeah.
Vettel's got to finish out of the top 3, I think. Am I
Out of the
right?
top 2. If he finishes
Yeah.
third, Hamilton hits the front.
yeah.
But it's going to be a great finish this year, isn't it? It's going to go down to the wire, you think?
Yeah.
There'll be a
Those two.
couple of tracks after Monza where
Ferrari will come into their
will
own.
suit their car. They set up a little bit better, so it'll be advantage Vettel then. So in other words, Hamilton has to win this one.
Have Red Bull improved this year? Because there was big talk before the start of the season that they're going to be this, they're going to do that, but they seem to be still well off the pace.
It's one thing talking about the machinery, the car, the setup. and it's quite another talking about the drivers because Verstappen has outqualified
Ricardo. Yeah.
That Australian
so
guy.
often.
He's lying.
But he's also a bit of a liability because there's been incidents between the two drivers where the one's taken the other one out. To be fair to Verstappen, he's done that with other drivers as well, from other teams. But in terms of the car and its competitiveness, you've got to say that Mercedes and Ferrari are a bit further up the road.
I always had an idea. That they handicap Formula One. So in other words, if you finish first this week, next week you start at the back of the grid. You come last, next week go to the first, and so on. You know what I mean? Just like, at least to make it more competitive, because it isn't competitive. Besides Ferrari and Mercedes,
I think the driver
nothing
that has
else
the
competes.
biggest crash should get 50 points.
The biggest crash.
Yeah.
You've taken a bet. We're
it's
gonna
one thing
get
getting the
onto
points.
that.
No, well, we are going to get into best bets now.
You get the points for your funeral. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I didn't mean to go that far. Right, let's have it. No, but I mean, crashes are
Exciting.
exciting. All right, there we go. I hope well, actually, I don't. But Jolyon Palmer to be the first driver to retire. Yes, World Sports Betting do have a market with that.
Did they?
Well done on that one. That's
Well,
a very good one.
he's driven for 15 years. He hasn't scored a point yet. Sharks to be the cheaters on the spread of minus 29.5. After we say goodbye to Soweto TV in just a few minutes, we'll chat about rugby. And then I've got a double. Mafani Valentine to win for the ladies at Turfentine in race number 6. On to Angels Power to place in the Spring Spree Stakes. Should get about 6-1 on that double. Gary.
Gone for Hamilton, as we discussed.
Yes.
Spain and Italy to draw. I think there's a little bit of pressure on Spain, and I'm not sure. Rugby, I've gone for the Sharks as well. Very difficult for the Cheetahs to play 2 games in a row in 2 days. And then my Hail Mary, maybe Spain and Italy at 0-0 at 6-1. No guarantee there'll be a goal there tonight.
Rod, what have you done? What?
Well, I put that up.
Is that all?
I wanted to
Is
put
that
it,
all
I
you've
wanted-
done for the... You've had the whole week.
Yeah, but I wanted to put it up, and they wouldn't let me put it up.
And your bet?
My best bet of the weekend was Cape Verde, and it was already gone, so I couldn't do it. What price would you have
Well, you've got a
on it?
chance. They play again in 2 days, 3
Yes.
days' time. There you go.
Yeah, but the bounce would be different. What price would they have been last night?
No, not a huge price. No, they weren't a massive price.
What, 5-1?
Not even.
5-1, no, never.
Really?
No. There's not a hell of a lot between African countries. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
really?
Bafana 3-0.
On Tuesday.
Oh, really?
It's a hell of a that's West Indies-esque, almost.
Yes,
Liam Delcom.
As discussed as well, Hamilton and Vettel both to be on the podium, and then the Lions to bounce back properly, and of course the Sharks will win in Durban. No question about that.
Okay.
But the Lions, I think, are good things this week because their coach has been not singing their praises in the sense that he's talked about the improvements, but they haven't had the results, and he says at some point it will click. And I think it's this weekend.
Okay. And Carol's already given her bets when we went through all the football, so a couple of confident selections from there. Just before we say goodbye to Soweto TV, there's some other information that we got for you. Don't forget about the WPT Empress Palace Poker Classic from the 13th of October until the 21st of October. Buy-ins from free to 40,000 Rand. Also not forgetting the KZN Poker Series from the 15th to the 19th of November. Don't forget you can visit www.queen10.com or contact Candice at shuffleuppoker.com. And you can also call that number in the bottom right-hand corner. It's 078. Rod, can you do the rest?
I can't see it.
611 8355. I'm just trying to get...
Bars are okay, huh?
That's because it's your number. You're a poker player, aren't you, Carol? You like your poker?
Well, no, I'm new to poker. I do. I love poker. I'm excited. I'm going to be at the WPT Classic, so I need some lessons before. But
Your coach has actually found us from America yesterday. You're going to
Oh,
start your
yes?
lessons next week. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
2 via Skype and 2 live when they get you.
yes,
It was arranged yesterday.
Who could the coach be? Is it a big
No, an
name?
international. Not a huge name, but he's a very good coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he coach you?
No. I'm useless.
Is he a player? Does he play?
Yeah, of course. Coming from America.
Is he a better coach than a player?
He actually is. He is. And that can happen because in poker you need to be able to bluff and hold your nerve and everything. So he might be a great technician. but
Okay.
not a good- Sorry.
All right. That's pretty much that. We're going to say goodbye to our Soweto TV viewers. Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll chat about rugby when you guys say goodbye. Right, so thanks very much to all our Soweto TV viewers. As we now move on to rugby, of course, the Pro 14 started yesterday, competition that's now come to South Africa and also to our screens. And also the Currie Cup is in full swing, another game played yesterday. But before we get into all that, let's talk about last week, Liam. Springboks went to Salter and won. They actually won better than people thought they Could have, should have.
And good on them. If you look at the previous week, they put fair distance between themselves, not so much on the scoreboard, but if you look at if you break the game down into its component parts, they put fair distance between themselves and the Pumas. And I think they certainly built on that in the Salto game. They certainly had the measure of their forwards, and you got a sense that in terms of breaking down the Argentinian defence, they had more going for them as well. So I think all in all, it was a fantastic performance. I mean, you don't just go to Argentina and put that margin on them. It was a very good performance.
Especially after the trip that South Africa took.
Both of them took.
That game between Australia and New Zealand.
Best game of rugby I've seen in a long time. I've got to be honest. I don't care about the result. I just love the game. It was fantastic. Australia got off to an absolute flyer. As you said, Liam, earlier, who would have picked that they'd scored the first 3 tries of the game? Unbelievable. Well, they couldn't convert, though. He just couldn't kick on the night, could he?
Well.
The week before, he never missed a kick.
I'll tell you what's something interesting. Next week's betting, which I've seen,
Okay.
between Australia and South Africa. How do you think? Who do you think should be favourite for starters?
Okay, historically, you'd have to go Australia. Even in Perth, South Africa's done well in Perth over the years. But overall, I think if you look at the way Australia can play, we saw that last week, I would still have them short favourites.
Really? Very close.
Yeah, it would be close.
They've got it very, very close to betting, which I was surprised. I thought Australia were going to be 6-point favourites, but they've come in at just 1-point favourites. So the bookies are expecting a hell of a tight game. And I think it will be a tight game because all of a sudden travel's not an issue.
Well, Perth is closer to Durban than Sydney is.
Where are the Springboks now? I would imagine.
They're back here.
Are they back here? So when would they leave? They're only going to leave on Monday again?
Some of them flew out last night, and some will fly today.
Okay, so they've got a full week, and it's not a long flight to Perth, right?
That's, 10 hours?
Not even, I don't think.
I think it's 10 and it's 4 then to Sydney or Melbourne.
Yeah.
So it would probably be 10, I would think.
There's a bit of a tailwind here.
And it's quicker to get there than it is. No, it is. It's definitely quicker to get there than to come back.
Yeah, it's 14 hours back.
From Perth?
No, sorry, to Sydney.
Yeah, I was going to say Sydney's 14 hours direct flight, so it'll probably be 10 to Perth because it's about a 4-hour flight between Sydney and Perth.
Yeah.
Can you believe you're talking about flight distance? Yes, carry
Well,
on, Gary.
Gary got us excited about airports this one.
It's very close, and the Springbok side has improved, you know what I'm saying? And I still haven't bought into the fact that the Wallabies are a good side yet.
I agree.
You know, they've done well in the 2 test matches at points against the All Blacks. They got up to flyer.
And how driven were they for last week's game?
Exactly, and I mean, I just think that we haven't seen the best of the All Blacks yet in this rugby championships, and I think...
Well, this year, for that matter.
Yeah, exactly. They haven't... This All Black side also worries me a little bit. This, in my opinion, people have given them too much praise. This isn't the All Black side of McCaw and Carter, in my mind. They're great at attacking, and they look spectacular and everything, but they do have a few, in my opinion, soft weaknesses in the pack. But...
Well, they scrummed them off the park. Geez, how some of those scrums with the All Blacks last week?
No, look...
The Aussies would go all over the show.
But I think next week, and the Springboks to win next week are going to have their set phases perfect. If they do, and they're disciplined,
well, so far so good because they were solid against France, always a good scrumming side, and against the Argentina.
Murdered Argentina
side. So yeah.
It's going to be a great game, you know. It really will be.
I think it'll be good for both those sides to see actually where they really are.
100%.
Because no one's... I aren't convinced yet about the Springboks, only because they haven't really come up against anyone. Australia have looked poor through the Super 18, and, I mean, they've got a hiding. Let's be honest, they've got an absolute hiding. 46 at half, 40 to 6 at half time. That shows that you're vulnerable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So where are these two sides in world rugby at the moment, I suppose? Over the next 2 weeks?
Well, South Africa moved up a notch last week, and of course the Wallabies having lost again, the other way.
No,
but yeah, I think it will be a good contest next week. It will be an arm wrestle, and I think the game will be decided in the last 10 minutes. No question.
How many games are the Cheetahs playing next week?
Probably 2 again.
Who do you think is going to win next week, Carol? Australia, South Africa. Do you think South Africa have turned the corner enough to be able to put Australia away?
I think the optimism now in terms of the Springboks, definitely it's gone up a notch because so many individuals had thought that Argentina were really going to be a very, very tough side for us. I think the Springboks will do it.
I think so too.
So do
I really do.
I honestly believe the Springboks are on a bit of a go, but I'm not too sure in my head. But Australia are just so vulnerable. Yes, they played the best game they've probably played since the World Cup when they managed to sneak in and beat Scotland in the semi, wasn't it?
Yeah, true.
But since then, they've been poor. So I think the Springboks, I really do. Even though it's played in Australia, they've got a massive support base there, as we know. I think there's more South Africans.
Look, the Wallabies are as vulnerable as they've ever been. So from that perspective, sure, they are beatable. But the Boks have gone there, with similar aspirations in the past, and where they were clear favourites, and they're somehow tripped up.
Do you want to finish that sentence?
I can't remember what I said. What did I say?
Right, let's just quickly chat about the Pro 14 yesterday, Liam and Gary, because it was the first time that a South African team played in the Pro 14, and Ulster, quite frankly, wiped the floor of the Cheetahs.
A lot of ex-South Africans in that Ulster side, eh? Sure.
Sean
And
Dace.
that was without Ruan Pienaar, who's played for them for years, and of course couldn't get a contract this year.
Even the guy that scored the try, the fullback.
Yes, Louis Ludik. Yeah.
You know? But I mean, I watched most of the game, and I thought they got a few rough decisions by the referee during the first half, which I think counted against them, but they just weren't good enough on defence. I still can't understand how Union, that small, has to play Friday night in Ulster, and then they got a Currie Cup game today. I've never seen worse planning in my entire life. I mean, what's going to happen next week in
To be fair, Gary,
Bloemfontein?
this thing was on them, and
And all the good players are on the Springbok side. I mean, that's brilliant, you know what I mean? I'll be honest with you, if I drove through Bloemfontein, there's a chance I get a contract, right? Anybody that weighs over 110 kilograms and under 70 years old, you've got to have a chance. I don't understand this. There has to be better planning. I just haven't worked it out. Rugby, they're depleting the resources by having too many sides in Super Rugby, and now they're just trying to, the whole world's turned into money for sport. And I'm not sure that they found the answer yet. I felt sorry for the Cheetahs last night. And they're going to get murdered today by 40 or 50 points by the Sharks as well, aren't they?
Okay, well, let's talk about those Currie Cup games, because there are two. It's the Lions and the Pumas that will kick things off. And, Liam, Lions with their 8th side. They've won one game in the Currie Cup.
They've won 1 out of 6. They haven't been that poor. You must understand that they're also missing 19 of their best players, with the Springboks, whether they're injured, whether they're playing in Japan, whether they've been banned, in the case of Kwagga Smith. There are 19 guys.
You said that with utter disdain.
Well, if he stayed on the park in the Super Rugby final, things might have been different, Alistair.
No.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. We've been there.
Yeah.
So I think, though, that they will bounce back. They've been unlucky here, and they will have the beating of the Pumas, which is, I mean, if you look at the Pumas last week, they put 50 on the Bulls, and they were outstanding up front. I mean, they mauled the Bulls properly. I mean, their driving maul was outstanding last week. And they will bring similar characteristics to the game at Ellis Park, but I think the Lions, certainly in attack, will offer too much.
Carol, do you support anyone in South African rugby?
Lions. I love the Lions.
Joburg good.
Yeah, I am.
Good on you.
You're a journalist. You're supposed to be neutral.
No, I'm talking about her.
He used to have a coffee mug that said Lions. Remember that?
Well, they gave that to me.
Yes, they weren't.
I didn't mold the thing myself.
Yes.
Even though.
Now they're giving you that they just everybody arrived at
You have a mug.
Take 60 mugs. You know what I mean? In a couple
Mug
of
for everybody.
And you're a mug. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, that's scary. All right, and then the Sharks and the Cheetahs, I think we've pretty much covered our bases there. The spread is 29.5. Rod, you're probably the only guy that hasn't given your opinion on this game, and neither has Carol. Sharks for you, Carol? Okay.
I'll go Sharks.
Gary's just told you why you cannot back Free State.
Free State, I went to
Well,
the
because
side.
Gary's running onto
I
the
went
field
to
later.
side. They literally had one guy who I recognised, and that's because he played sevens. That's the truth. I mean,
Is Grey Bloom playing basically in this?
Grey Bloom, I think Grey Bloom would have an outside chance here. No, it's just crazy, you know what I'm saying? And the Sharks are a good side, eh?
They'll
Don't
win.
make any mistakes.
I think they'll win the
They're
Currie
the most
Cup.
resilient side, certainly in this Currie Cup. If you look at their defence, by far the best. They did very well to beat Western Province last week.
That'll be the final as well. Western Province Sharks in the final.
Well, Cheetahs would have had a chance if they didn't have their first side playing in Ireland.
Well, half their first side is here, ready to go to Australia. Their second side is in Ireland. Their third side is injured, and their fourth side's in Durban.
Yeah,
What price are the Sharks? What price were they?
What, to win the Currie Cup?
No, to win this game.
29.5 points you can get.
I'll say this about
what do
the
you think,
Currie
Gary?
Cup.
Good bet.
Yeah, if the weather's okay in Durban and it's not clammy, then I think the Sharks will win by more than 40 points. I really do.
There you go.
Yeah, Liam?
I'll say this about the Currie Cup. If you look at the way the log more or less will be towards the end of the campaign, I think if you look at the semi-finals, the away teams will have a proper chance. It'll be fairly open. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Okay, well, you said that now. So that is pretty much that. We've just got to 10 past. Carol, thank you very much for stopping by.
Always a pleasure.
Always great to see you.
Yeah.
Lots of photos, lots of videos. Social media will be a buzz.
Yeah, you put on your smile as well for my Snapchat.
Enjoy your trip to London.
Thank you. Looking forward to
that'll
that.
be good.
Yeah.
The piano bar, don't forget it.
Cannibal.
Yes.
Noted. Noted.
I haven't forgotten about it. Rod, enjoy the gravel road back to wherever you are.
I've got an hour's trip back. I actually forgot to put it into my GPS. I don't know if I can get back. I got here. I don't know if I can get back.
Well, your wife wouldn't mind.
Yeah, no, she's already there.
If you see a sign that says "Welcome to Bulawayo," you've gone too far.
I just want to tell you one thing. I jumped in the jacuzzi yesterday, and I was actually.
I don't want to hear any more.
I just want to tell you, there's a nice jacuzzi there, and the lady who was there, she's a 71-year-old German who's lets out these places, right? So I said to her, listen, why don't you please do me a favour and fill the jacuzzi up? She said, get in. And it was about that far from the top. I got in, it was overflowing. I said, thank you. True story.
Did you get a phone call during the week, by the way?
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Nico's Uncle Harry phoned me, Nico Kritsiotis. I always say Kritsiotis, is that right?
Whatever you want to say.
Okay. Uncle Harry phoned me.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Did he have the hump?
I knew you were going to say that. He didn't have the hump. I actually never met him, so I don't know.
Okay. Gary, lots of punching.
Yeah. Not on sort of mainstream like we used to with Premier League and, Championship and that. But no, there's enough to punch on anyway. Tennis. I'll find enough to bet on, don't worry.
Liam, are you working this weekend?
No, I'm thinking about the hump. I mean, you need to explain yourself.
Okay.
I'm going away this weekend, Alistair. But
Are you?
we're not on the same gravel road he's going on.
We're going to say you and Rod in the same jacuzzi. It's quite a thought. Right, thanks very much for watching. It's been World Sports Betting's Morning Report. We'll see you again next week. Premier League is back next weekend. We're looking forward to all of that. Thanks very much to the guests for coming. Thanks to you for watching, and thanks to Rod for corrupting my mind.